The magistrate of Vilna concludes that Chassidim are not followers of Shabtai Tzvi, and that this letter of Rabbi Avigdor of Pinsk is really, is false. So then the question is, why does Rabbi Shneur Zalman end up in jail? About a year later, he ends up in jail, and the answer seems to be that they send this other person to Vilna to sort of investigate Chassidim, and there are claims against the Chassidim that they're seditious, that they're part of these groups that the government is trying to tone down. And let's see, so his explanation is so that becomes kind of the question: why did how does he end up back in jail in 1800? And so he says here that in 1800, in June 1800, Prosecutor General Obolodzinov wrote to the military governor of Lithuania, Mikhail Kutuzov, the Prosecutor General of Lithuania, whose name is Briskorn, and the civil governor of Lithuania, Maximovich, ordering them in the name of the Tsar to investigate the complaints of Rabbi Avigdor. So they do, and they say that there's nobody who belongs to the sect of Shabtai Tzvi. And so Rabbi Shneur Zalman is exonerated, but so what happens? And described as law-abiding. There's this research into whether they are actually part of, splinter groups that are new groups that are against the government, and they're not. So he claims the explanation of Rabbi Shneur Zalman's second arrest lies in two visits made by Senator Drahavin to White Russia. In 1799, the senator was sent there to investigate the dispute that had broken out between the Jews in the city of Shklov and the owner of an estate in Zorich. A year later, he visits White Russia again to investigate them, and he says that now. So it turns out this guy they sent to investigate is Russian Orthodox and prejudiced against the Jews, and he reports about Rabbi Shneur Zalman that I said I saw him with my own eyes. The hypocrite who the Chasidim honor as if he were their patriarch, and they obey his every word. The Chasidim are a sect of heretics, and he calls them Raskolniki in Russian, which was a certain group. Recently, the conflict between the Chasidim and Mitnagdim has been well known. The latter complained the Chasidim seduce their sons, and mainly the rich ones, that they'll join their band and give their gold and silver to Rabbi Shneur Zalman. They say that he sends money to Palestine. And so the question is, that stuff's fairly patently false, and it's against what was shown to be the case by the magistrates in Vilna before. So Dr. Etke says it's not impossible that this Drahavin was influenced by the claims of the Mitnagdim against the Chasidim. He was in Vilna. In any event, he says special weight should be given to Drahavin's comparison of the Chasidim to the sect of Raskolniks, which was a deviant sect of Russian Orthodoxy that the government sought to repress. It seems this must be understood in relation to the phenomenon of the secret societies that were active in various countries in Europe at the time, this is 1800, and aroused the suspicion of rulers. In another place in describing the visit to White Russia, he says, a few educated Jews told me the Chasidim are like the Illuminati. And then he quotes Dubnov, who's another scholar, suggests these educated Jews got this idea from another book. So as we pointed out before, there's these things that come up in the letters that are clearly about politics, and they're not just, about the doctrines of Hasidim, and is that against mainstream, Jewish ideas. And all it takes, what you realize is that all it takes is one, slightly anti-Semitic, or very anti-Semitic, magistrate who is suspicious and sees the Chassidim as a, what would we call it today, as a, sees the Chassidim as a kind of secret society, a cabal that is against the government, similar to other groups, and then boom, it all devolves, and he ends up in jail. So on the one hand, it is the authorities who put him in jail, and in that sense, when Chassidim talk about Yud Tes Kislev and it being about anti-Semitism, that's true. On the other hand, you do see that happens because of the Jews, because of the Mitnagdim's war against the Chasidim. I mean, none of this ever would have happened, had Mitnagdim of Vilna not, and certain people come to the fore who have other chips on their shoulders. This guy Rabbi Avigdor is upset because the Chasidim ran him out of Pinsk, because there were a lot of Chasidim. Chasidim were gaining adherents, and he's incredibly opposed to them. And he had, he was getting paid to be the rabbi there. And so he's got a chip on his shoulder. He writes all these things, and all you need is one, anti-Semitic magistrate who is gonna, basically say there's a, there's this, secret cabal of Hasidim who are really against the government, and they're like Illuminati, and then it all devolves. Now, of course, Rabbi Shneur Zalman's, I think he's only in jail for a year or two. He gets out, but we know how these things develop. I mean, it's funny how it's not so foreign to us, right? These it's this this worry that there, we had it, when the Pizzagate, right? When they went to the pizza store, and they're like in the basement, that's where what I think they accused the Democrats of, of having a secret society and keeping all these people, but there was no basement, so once you have, and they didn't even have social media, but on the other hand, they also didn't have a lot of information at their fingertips. So you don't know what's real, what's not real. You hear things, people accuse people. We know how these things devolve very quickly. It's really not surprising. All you need is a little hatred and some political power, and you can, weave any story you want. Now, he does write this letter, which is a very long letter, in which he does go through step by step things in the ethical will of the Baal Shem Tov, and tries to show that those are against Judaism. Now, why is he doing that? I mean, what does the Tsar care about that? Or the prosecutor general of Russia? The answer is that he's just trying to prove that they're a sect, that they're sectarian, and that would be enough to, if you can say they're a sect and that they're trying to overthrow the government, then you've really got it made. Because it won't be seen as anti-Semitic. It will be seen as, just keeping things, just protecting the Russian government. So my sense is that that's how it evolves, and again, it seems strange to us, but it's really not foreign at all. Today it happens all on the internet, but back then it just happened in a different method. But it's the same idea. It's the same. You become suspicious. Somebody has a chip on the shoulder. They accuse somebody else. And then it's very easy to convince one prosecutor that Rabbi Shneur Zalman should be in jail. He ends up in jail. That's, I think, the flow of things here. We'll look at his letter that he writes of these 19 complaints against the Chasidim, based, because it's kind of interesting, because what you get to see is what he's quoting, and luckily the notes here in this book show you exactly what he's quoting from in the will of the Baal Shem Tov, so you can see whether he's quoting it or misquoting it, and then what his argument is against that. And then there's also letters that we have of Rabbi Shneur Zalman following all this, defending himself. So we'll read some of those, but I think that's on kind of the political, natural level, why all of this happens and how it develops. Again, Manuel seems to put it all into okay, so we'll look closer at his complaints against his sort of intellectual complaints against Chasidim and the arguments back. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.